All right, family, it's Tasha MAMABEAR prepping. You already know what time it is. Girl, get your drink, pull up. Let's talk about it. You know, I've been dreading doing this video because I have been watching, first of all, I've watched COVID, everything that's gone on with this pandemic, everything that has happened. I've been taking it in over the last few years. And we finally got to the point where it was not on the forefront, right? It wasn't being shoved down our throats from the media. Okay, people that wanted to get, vaccinated could do so, had done so. Things were getting back to, mandates were falling off. Things were kind of relaxing. And of course, it's one drama for another, right? It's because, another elephant walked in the room. And so that one is just off in the cut. But guess what? That elephant is still in the room. It's still here. And for those of you that thought, I can't wait for it to leave, it's just going to be gone, it's going to be done. It never was going to be done, okay? It's like the new flu. It's not going anywhere, okay? And that's how we need to just treat it, is that it's just it's here. It's an endemic. It's here. It's not going anywhere. There's always going to be other variations. There's always going to be the new thing that's hitting the streets. I think that we've done what we're going to do. Yes, can people still, pass away from this? Absolutely. But can people still pass away from, getting medicated? Absolutely. So there's just pros and cons of the whole thing. Okay. And I don't even want to get into that conversation with you guys. I don't. I'm sick to my stomach. I'm sick of talking about it. But I think that it deserves a small amount of attention because you don't want to get complacent. Now's not the time to get complacent. Now's not the time to just live life on that anger about how things were handled, right? And use that stuff that we learned and how things could go and imagine it getting worse and what you could do now to prepare, okay? And I think that the ways you prepare for this are important because they will help you in preparing for any kind of pandemic, any kind of virus, any kind of disease that comes our way, which will come our way, you guys. We're not privy enough that, nothing will ever come and hit us. Something is going to come and get us one day. Something way more severe than what we dealt with, okay? But if you're smart and you're not complacent and you think about things that you learned, what did we learn during the last few years, will help you prepare and be ready for the next big thing. What is happening in Shanghai, right, should be concerning to you on some sort of level, right? Should be concerning to you, should give you pause. Those people are on a major, what's being called indefinite lockdown. Things are so bad there. I mean, and you're talking about billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of people. And Angry Pepper, kudos, man. I just watched his last video on this. He was talking about Shanghai and just different things. And what was interesting, and this is the comment I made to him in his video, was I was surprised that nobody in our world, right, had discussed this yet. He was the first one that I saw really discuss specifically what's going on in Shanghai. The thing is I've been watching it for months, you guys, okay, because it has significantly gotten worse over the last months. But mind you, they were told to stockpile food. Anytime your government tells you to stockpile food, you should do so. There's a reason, okay? You should be doing that anyway so that you're prepared for all types of things, all types of scenarios. But they were told. And now they're on lockdown. You think our lockdowns were something? No, this is like off the chain lockdowns with big walls where they are being walled into their apartment blocks or buildings. Drones are dropping off things of food. You have drones that are basically saying creepy compliance type messages. I mean, this is insane. And if you think about food and just food alone, right? We're not talking about all the other quality of life things that might come up in this situation, but just food alone and how fragile the food system is. I promise you, you have people starving, literally. And then if you don't, because that is what you're going to start seeing next. is bodies upon bodies. And they may or may not say, oh, it's from the disease, the virus. Baby, it's going to be because these people are starving. You have people who, like I've said on many times on other videos, you have people that do not know how to cook, do not know how to fend for themselves, do not have any kind of food, and would not have put food in their house. And now they're trapped and they can't go anywhere. And it's not like here where they're all in the streets, okay? They're not in the streets. They're on lockdown, real lockdown. And so it's just a matter of time, weeks and months, before you're going to start seeing bodies because of starvation. It's not going to be from sickness, but these people are on lockdown like this sickness is like Ebola, like, you know, compliance, don't open your windows, don't sing out the window. I mean, scary stuff, right? Stuff you would expect if something crazy was hitting the streets, like Ebola or smallpox or yellow fever, like black plague, like crazy stuff was happening. This is the type of lockdown you would expect, right? Quarantines, things like that, killing animals. Not for what we just have been dealing with this last few years. Like, hello. And it's not to take away from that and be like, oh, it's nothing. But let's just look at this as common sense. Like, why is this so extreme there and not anywhere else? And that should give you pause. That should give you concern. Okay. You know, what do? Well, it's the same stuff I've been telling you. You continue to stack food, water, meds. You can continue to prepare your preps and build upon that stuff. And that's not just for something like this. That's for everything. Okay. You continue to watch and pay attention to what's going on. Don't be blind and be like, well, they're talking about COVID again. I don't even care. I'm not watching this crap, right? Now listen, if that's how you feel about it, that's how you feel about it. But I would say that you need to pay attention enough to just understand big picture what is happening around the country, what is happening around the world, because that's how you get red flags. That's how you get a little bit of information and maybe get a tip on something a little bit faster than somebody else that could lead to something, right? Something happens and you get that and you're able to get some stuff before panic buying starts or whatever the case may be. I think that you should continue. I don't, you know, even though things are slowed down considerably, I think that you should expect, you know, infringements of your rights again, mandates, all those discussions. You're starting to see stuff come back now, different mask mandates, different things that is happening that people, either states or cities or federal entities or whatever the case may be, they're starting to slowly bring stuff. Universities. So, you know, you need to think where this was going before and know that it's coming back. We've just had this craziness with what's going on overseas that just has everybody distracted and watching that now. And now this is starting to creep up. And if you have not paid attention, it's starting to creep up every day. It's a little bit more presence on the big social media. And it's just disgusting to me. So you just pay attention, okay? Decide now on your children's education. Decide now what you're going to do. And this is why I tell you to do this. Because if you've ever in your mind thought, oh, I really wanted to explore homeschooling, right, for my children. I want to do something with that in different programs. Do that now. Because trust and believe, when things get real bad, and the majority of people are pulling out their kids, there's not going to be space in these programs for your kids, right? Yes, of course, there's programs where it doesn't matter, it's an endless amount, but there's a lot of programs that are actual schools, that are actual programs. And they're going to have a cap, okay? Because there's teachers that are teaching those children, and they're going to have a cap even in, you know, a virtual type setting, Zoom type setting, whatever, okay? And so you've got to be careful, because some of these places that are good for homeschooling may not be available or have space for your children when you finally get to the point where you're like, okay, I've had enough. I need to take them out of the school system, okay? And just the stress of when things are bad and you trying to make decisions and research and find out where you're going to put kids and do this when school's supposed to already be happening, that's stressful, okay? And so, do yourself a favor and figure out what you're going to do for education. And if you're a parent, you're like, look, I'm okay. We all got medicated. We're going to just roll with whatever mandates that the public school system rolls out, then by all means, that's your decision. Okay. I'm not here to judge. If that's what you're going to do, that's what you're going to do. But decide now, while you have time, to have options, what you're going to do. Okay. Do not be complacent. Some people really would be like, they're so over this. They're so disgusted of how things happen, and they're so upset still, and they're just not willing to give it any time. And I'm not saying give it a bunch of time and energy, but I am saying don't be complacent, because complacency could kill. Okay. Complacency could matter. Okay. Get the things that you need, stock up on your cleaners and your PPEs, your gloves, different things. Get that stuff now before you're trying to find it later. Okay. Get your medical procedures done. I shouldn't even speak on this, but I had a subscriber. This was very, very early in my venture with this channel, very, very early. And I had a subscriber, and she was so nice, and she was so caring, and she was Christian, and she just inundated me with emails daily, right? And I thought it was nice. I was like, okay, I have a new little friend. But she wanted to talk about secret society, all these different things that I just was uncomfortable talking with her about. I didn't have time, and I just didn't really want to get that deep with her, right? But she didn't like that. And there was a few times I wrote very in-depth answers to her emails and was trying to be as respectful as possible. And in one of my videos I did, and it was about what was happening the last couple years, I mentioned, hey, something smart to do is it's getting hard to get into hospitals. Things are being overran. Doctors are not wanting to see people. Please get your everyday medical concerns situated, right? If you're due for a tooth cleaning, get that done. If you're due for some sort of small, same day procedure, get that stuff done, because as these things unroll, you're not going to have time. Doctors are not going to have the time to see you for these everyday concerns, because they're going to be taking care of other patients. She did not like that. She sent me the biggest, this was actually the end of our relationship. I had finally had, it was just too much. But she wrote and was just like, how dare you tell people what to do? Stay in your lane. Don't be telling people to go to the doctor, because they could be getting medicated and they don't even realize it. Like, they're getting tricked, basically, right? So look, what I'm telling you is take care of business, and you know what that is. You know what you're overdue for, what you need. Be smart. Understand what you're reading at the doctor's, right? Don't just be signing stuff on the little pad without reading it, right? Do what you have to do as an adult. I guess that was my fault, just assuming that people are going to be responsible for their own medical procedures, right? And not be in that type of predicament. But I was upset because she was like, stay in your lane, right? I did not appreciate it. And so that was the end of our relationship, actually. But I'm going to say it again right now. If you have procedures, you have things you need to do, you have things you're supposed to be picking up, there's health and self-love, health things that you're supposed to be doing for yourself, get those things done now. I'm telling you to get them done before you can't. I have friend after friend after friend who has emailed me, who is struggling to do different things in the healthcare system, and they're just now being able to do some of those things. But as this thing ramps up again, we're going to get to a point where you cannot do things again, okay? Everyday procedures, small procedures that aren't life-threatening, there's not going to be room for it, okay? Even people who have diagnosed stuff but have to have kind of a normal treatment, those patients get put on the back burner, okay? So get the things done medically that you know that you need to be doing right now. And then decide and know your own employment situation, right? Understand now, who do you work for? Who's your boss? Is it a federal entity? Is it a company that was already down your throat about getting medicated, not medicated, was falling in line? Is it not? What do you do every day? And how does that play into this situation and how it would affect the situation? Maybe you barely got through with some stuff, okay? But if this stuff gets worse later down the road, you need to know what your plan is. Be putting away money, preparing now financially for the day that you may decide to walk away from a job, that type of thing. Just expect that this is like the new flu. It's not going anywhere. It's not disappearing. It's going to be here forever. It really just matters. All I care about is how bad is it going to get? That's really what I want to know. I kind of already want to skip to the end and know how this is going to end for us. But in the meantime, you won't see me getting complacent. You'll see me continuing to get my preps and preparedness items that are in this area. And that's not just for this situation, but that's for future situations. That's why this is important. Don't just fluff it off like, oh, well, it's this stuff again. It is. But by being vigilant about this, when the next really bad thing comes, you'll hopefully be prepared and have the things already and not be scrambling to get supplies when something bigger happens, because that's the last thing you want to do is have to go out and try to get supplies and try to procure stuff when something crazy is going on with like a 30%, kill rate, things like that. Okay. So hopefully I didn't upset you guys on this video today. Hopefully that old subscriber is not still watching and she's like, this chick just talked about me. But blessings from my bear cave to yours. I would love to hear in the comments below your guys' thoughts. Do you think we're overthinking it? Do you think it's going to get worse? Are you over it? I mean, feel free to speak your mind. I'm definitely over it, but I'm also on the side of paying attention still and being ready for anything, really, is what I'm doing, which is really my everyday, mantra here, is just being ready for anything that might come our way. And this is no different, you guys. So I will see you guys. Let's see, it's Friday. Yep. I'll see you guys tomorrow on the next video, and you guys take care. Bye.